Good evening aspirants, welcome to Daily News Analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy. Today's date is 28th May 2024. Displayed here are the list of topics we are going to see today. Now let us get into the discussion. Before entering our discussion, I have two important announcements. The first is regarding All India Prelims mock test conducted by Shankar IAS Academy. The next test will be held on 2nd June 2024 and then the third test will be on 9th June 2024. So aspirants, make use of it. The next announcement is regarding Shankar's Telegram Live Series. The Telegram Live Series will be conducted on 30th May 2024 and the topic is Ancient and Medieval India. This is for brushing up the UPSC Prelims 2024. So interested aspirants, take a note of it. With this, now let us start the discussion. Look at this previous year prelims question. Which one of the following foreign travelers elaborately discussed about diamonds and diamond mines of India? The correct answer is option B, Jean-Baptiste Tavernier. This question is asked straightly from NCERT book named Themes in Indian History Part 2. Know that Jean-Baptiste Tavernier was a renowned 17th century French merchant and traveler. To be specific, he is a private individual and merchant traveling at his own expense. He traveled to Persia and India between the years 1630 and 1668. He elaborately discussed about the diamonds and diamond mines in India. Apart from this, Jean de Tavernier is one of the first French travelers who described the cultivation of indigo and extent of its cultivation in his book, Then Francois Bernier. His book Travels in the Mughal Empire mentioned the life of peasantry and their poor conditions. Then there is another French traveler called Abbé Carey. He also visited Mughal India between 1672 and 1674 and recorded his information in the Travels of Abbé Carey in India and Near East. You can see the important travelers in the image given here. These travelers are very important because they give accounts of particular time of that period. This is all about the discussion. Now let us move to the next topic. Look at this previous year prelims question. Bijak is a composition of teachings of Saint Dadu Dayal. The philosophy of Pushti Mark was propounded by Madhavacharya. Which of the statements given above are correct? This question is about Bhakti saints in medieval India and their associated philosophy. Let us try to answer this question by analyzing each of the statement individually. With respect to statement 1, Bijak is actually a collection of verses of Saint Kabir. Kabir was 5th century Indian mystic poet. He is known for spiritual teachings and philosophical verses. His compositions are compiled in the holy book which is called Bijak. Dadu Dayal was a Hindu-Muslim saint who inspired the founding of Dadu Panth, which is a Hindu-Muslim sect. He was contemporary of Rana Pratap and Akbar. In 1575, he met Akbar and influenced him by his views. So the first statement is obviously incorrect. Bijak is a composition of teachings of Saint Kabir and not Saint Dadu Dayal. Now coming to the second statement, here the Pushti Marg, which is also known as Vallabha Sampradaya, is a sect of Vaishnavism. It was founded in early 16th century by Vallabha and was later expanded by his descendants. Pushti Marg advocates worship of Krishna and tradition follows universal love-themed devotional practices regarding Krishna. Madhavacharya was born in the year 1238 AD. He came after Shankaracharya and Ramanujacharya and he propounded the philosophy of Dvaita or dualism. So if you look at the second statement, the Pushti Marg was founded by Vallabha and not Madhavacharya. So it is clear that both of these statements are incorrect. So the correct answer is option D. Along with this discussion, let us see some important Bhakti saints from Maharashtra. First is Saint Dhyaneshwar. He is also known as Jnanadeva. He was a Marathi saint, poet, philosopher and his notable work is Dhyaneshwari, which is a commentary on Bhagavad Gita and is written in Marathi. Dhyaneshwar emphasized devotion to Lord Vittal and also about the importance of self-realization. Next is Saint Namdev. His period is between 1270 to 1350 AD. He is a contemporary of Dhyaneshwar. Namdev was a Varkari saint and a major figure in Bhakti movement. His Abhangas, which are called devotional poems, were composed in the praise of God Vittal and conveyed the messages of love, devotion and equality. Namdev's teachings transcended caste barriers, promoting the idea that God resides in every individual. Then about Saint Eknath. Known for his scholarly works and devotional songs, Eknath was a poet and scholar and his famous work include Eknathi Bhagavat, which is a Marathi commentary on Bhagavata Purana. He also wrote Bhavat Ramayana and his teachings focused on humility, devotion and importance of Guru. Next about Saint Tukaram. His period is between 1608 to 1649 AD. He is also a renowned Varkari saint, and his Abhangas are celebrated for simplicity and profound spiritual depth. He emphasized the significance of chanting God's name and devotion to God Vithal. Next is Saint Ramdas, whose period is between 1608 to 1681 AD. He is also known as Samrat Ramdas, and he was a spiritual leader and philosopher. He is a devotee of Lord Rama and Hanuman. His works such as Das Both and Manche Shlok provided practical wisdom for leading a righteous life. Ramdas was a mentor to Maratha King Shivaji, and he promoted the concept of Dharma and Swarajya. So these are the important Bhakti saints of Maharashtra. With this, let us conclude the discussion and move to our news article discussions. This news article talks about the devastation caused by Cyclone Remal across the southern districts of West Bengal. The cyclone, which made landfall on Sunday night, brought with fierce winds and heavy rainfall, leading to widespread damage and casualties. In this backdrop, let us revise about temperate cyclones in this news article discussion. We have already discussed about tropical cyclones in yesterday's discussion. See, extratropical cyclones are also known as mid-latitude depressions or temperate cyclones or frontal depressions or wave cyclones. These are active above the mid-latitudinal region, which is between 35 degree and 65 degree latitude. The direction of movement is from west to east and more pronounced in winter seasons. It is in these latitude zones the polar and tropical masses meet and form the air front. Now let us see how these temperate cyclones are formed. The origin and development of temperate cyclones is best explained by the polar front theory. According to this theory, the warm humid air masses from the tropics meet the dry cold air masses from the poles. Thus, a polar front is formed here. The cold air mass is denser and heavier, and due to this reason, the warm air is pushed up. This interaction of cold air and warm air masses creates instability, and a low pressure is created at the junction, particularly in the center of interactions. Thus, a void is created because of lessening of pressure, and the surrounding air rushed in to occupy this void. This creates anti-clockwise cyclonic circulation. The cyclonic circulation leads to a well-developed extratropical cyclone with a warm front and a cold front. The plan and cross-section of well-developed cyclone is given in this image. Remember, there are pockets of warm air or warm sector present between the cold sector. The warm air glides over the cold air, and a sequence of clouds appear over the sky ahead of warm front, and they cause precipitation. As a result, cumulus clouds develop along the cold front. The cold front moves faster than the warm front and ultimately overtaking the warm front. So the warm air is completely lifted off and the front is occluded, and then the cyclone dissipates. The extratropical cyclone differs from tropical cyclone in a number of ways. For example, the extratropical cyclones have a clear frontal system which is not present in tropical cyclone. They cover a larger area and can originate over the land and sea. But the tropical cyclones originate only over the sea, and on reaching the land they dissipate. The extratropical cyclone affects a much larger area as compared to tropical cyclone. The wind velocity in tropical cyclone is much higher and it is more destructive. The extratropical cyclones move forward from west to east, but tropical cyclones move from east to west. So these are the major differences between tropical and temperate cyclones. With this, let us conclude the discussion and move to the next topic. Look at this news. Yesterday, a huge landslide hit Papua New Guinea. There were more than 2,000 people believed to have buried alive in this landslip. So in this context, let us revise about landslides for our prelims exam. First, what is a landslide? Landslides are geological phenomena where large masses of earth, rock or debris move down a slope. Landslides can vary in size from small localized slides to large catastrophic events that can destroy entire communities. Landslides are responsible for an estimated 25,000 deaths each year. Now let us see the types of landslides. Depending on the type of movement of material, there are various types of landslides. Firstly, slump. It is a slipping of one or several units of rock debris with a backward rotation. See, this backward rotation is with respect to slope over which the movement takes place. Secondly, debris slide. It is rapid rolling or sliding of earth debris without backward rotation of mass. Thirdly, creep. It is very slow and continuous downslope movement of soil and rock, and it is often unnoticed but can cause long-term damage to structures. Fourthly, rock fall. These are sudden and fast-moving events where individual rocks or boulders detach and fall from a steep slope. They are fast movement of rocks down a slope. Fifthly, rock slides. In rock slides, a mass of rock, either with or without soil, slides down a slope. It is typically slower than a rock fall. Then there is one more type of landslide which is called a lahar. It is a mud flow or debris flow that originates on the slope of volcano. This is usually triggered by a heavy rainfall, eroding the volcanic deposits and causes sudden melting of snow or ice due to the heat from the volcanic vents. These are important types of landslides. Now moving on to see the measures to prevent landslides. Firstly, slope stabilization. Strengthening unstable slopes using techniques such as retaining walls, terracing or rock bolting to prevent the slope failure. Secondly, vegetative cover. Promoting the plantation of vegetation on the slopes will help to prevent landslides. Thirdly, erosion control. Implementing erosion control measures such as slit fences, mulching can also prevent the removal of soil by water runoff. Fourthly, land use planning. Enforcing land use regulations and restricting construction in landslide prone areas can prevent the damage caused by landslides. So this is all about the discussion. Now let us move to the next topic. Look at this article from Hindu Editorial. It talks about recently concluded contract between India and Iran, which gives India rights to invest in and operate a terminal at Chabahar Port for another 10 years. With this backdrop, let us analyze India-Iran relation and also about challenges within the relations. We shall discuss this topic using our usual mains answer writing approach. This topic comes under GS paper 2. Now this is the mains question. Discuss the significance of Chabahar Port for India. Analyze the key areas of contention between India and Iran that impact the bilateral relationship. See, this is a straightforward question. We need to address the significance of port project and also about the challenges in India-Iran relation. Finally, we have to conclude with a positive way forward. Now let us start with the introduction. The Chabahar Port, located in southeastern Iran, is strategically significant for India. It serves as a critical maritime link to Afghanistan and Central Asia. This port, developed with Indian assistance, is a part of India's border strategy to enhance regional connectivity and also to counterbalance China's influence in the region. Despite its potential, the India-Iran relationship faces challenges that impact the bilateral partnership. Now let us move on to the body part of the answer. Here we have to explain the significance of Chabahar Port for India. Firstly, about strategic connectivity. Alternate route to Afghanistan. Chabahar provides India a direct route to Afghanistan by bypassing the Pakistan. This has been a strategic barrier to India's connectivity efforts in the region for many years. The international north-south transport corridor enhances this connectivity further. It also gives access to Central Asia. Through Chabahar Port, India can access Central Asian countries, which is vital for energy security and economic interest. Next, about economic and trade benefits. The port facilitates India's trade with Afghanistan and Central Asia, providing a shorter and more cost-effective route compared to the traditional routes. According to a report by Federation of Indian Export Organizations, trade with these regions could see a significant boost due to the reduced transportation cost and time. India is also involved in developing Chabahar Free Trade Zone, expected to attract investments and promote economic interest in sectors like manufacturing, logistics and services. Then about geopolitical leverage. See, Chabahar Port serves as a counterweight to Gwadar Port in Pakistan, which is developed by China. This port is developed by China under China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. It is a part of Belt and Road Initiative. So Chabahar Port gives India a strategic foothold in the region by counterbalancing China. By providing humanitarian assistance and developmental aid via Chabahar, India can enhance its influence and goodwill in Afghanistan. Now let us see the second part of the body of the answer. Here we are going to explain the key areas of contention between India and Iran. Firstly, about US sanctions on Iran. The reimposition of US sanctions on Iran under the Trump administration severely impacted India's ability to invest and develop projects in Iran, including Chabahar Port. The sanctions also forced India to cut down on oil imports from Iran, which was one of the major suppliers of oil to India. So this disrupted India's energy security strategy and also strained the bilateral ties with Iran. Next, about project delays and execution issues. The delays in the execution of projects such as railway line from Chabahar to Sahidan have hampered the functional of Chabahar Port. These delays are often attributed to bureaucratic hurdles, finding issues, and the complex geopolitical environment. There are ongoing challenges related to development of adequate port infrastructure, which hinders the port's capacity to handle large volume of cargoes. Then about regional geopolitical dynamics. We should also talk about Iran's relationship with China. See, Iran has growing ties with China, with their 25-year strategic cooperation agreement, and it poses challenges for India. China's significant investment in Iranian infrastructure and energy sectors could potentially marginalize India's role and influence in Chabahar. The political instability and security situation in Afghanistan can impact the viability of Chabahar as a trade route. Next, about policy divergence. India and Iran sometimes have divergent regional policies, particularly regarding their approach to US influence and regional security infrastructure. These differences can create friction and limit the depth of bilateral cooperation. So this is all about the body part of the answer. Now let us see the conclusion. Here we have to summarize our answer with a way forward. Chabahar Port holds immense strategic and economic significance for India, thereby enhancing its connectivity with Afghanistan and Central Asia. It also helps to counterbalance China's regional influence and providing geopolitical leverage for India. However, the bilateral relationship between India and Iran faces several challenges, including the impact of US sanctions, project execution delays, and regional geopolitical dynamics. For the full potential of Chabahar Port to be realized, it is important for both nations to address these contentions through a sustained diplomatic engagement. So this is all about this answer. With this, let us conclude the discussion and move to the next topic. Look at this article. India's trade relationship with China has deepened significantly, especially in the realm of electronic and electrical goods. This heavy reliance on China has positioned India's top trading partner multiple times in past decade. In our discussion, let us see some trade-related facts about China and India. Now let us break down this article to understand the key points. Firstly, with respect to top trading partners, in 2024, China was India's leading trade partner for the sixth time in last decade. The worrying trend is this status is mainly due to high imports from China, overshadowing India's relatively low exports to China. Secondly, with respect to trade deficit, India has significant trade deficit, with China reaching $85.1 billion in 2024, the highest ever recorded. Thirdly, with respect to electronics and electrical imports. See, the electronics and electrical goods dominate India's imports from China. Between 2015 and 2024, the largest import category was mobiles, which is followed by automatic data processing units, semiconductor devices, and electronic integrated circuits. See, 13 out of top 20 imported items from China were electronic or electrical products. Now look at this data. 54% of mobiles are from China. 54% of automatic data processing units to India are from China. 70% of semiconductor devices and diodes are from China. 32% of electronic integrated circuits and micro assemblies are from China. So this much of imports are taken by India from China. On continuing our discussion, we shall see about comparative trade dynamics between India and China. Though India's exports to China have remained stagnant, the imports have surged. On the other hand, exports and imports between India and US have both increased, but exports have risen more sharply. So this contributes to a trade surplus with the US. Now let us see India's relations with other trading partners. India also has notable trade deficits with other major partners like Russia. This is primarily due to discounted oil imports from Western sanctions on Russia. Interestingly, the trade surplus with the Netherlands has grown as India refines Russian crude oil into petroleum products. This article underscores the strategic importance of China in India's trade ecosystem, particularly in technology sector. So these are the important points mentioned in this article. Now we have come to the prelims practice question discussion. Which of the following factors contribute to the occurrence of landslides? Heavy rainfall, earthquakes, deforestation, construction activities on slopes. The correct answer is option D. Now look at the second question. Which of the following statements about temperate cyclones are correct? Temperate cyclones occur between 35 degree and 65 degree latitude in both hemispheres. Yes, this statement is correct. They have a clear frontal system with both warm and cold front. Yes, this statement is also correct. Temperate cyclones move from east to west. This statement is incorrect because temperate cyclones generally move from west to east due to prevailing westerly winds in the mid-latitudes. They are most pronounced in summer season. This statement is incorrect. They are frequent in winter season when the temperature contrast between polar and tropical air masses are greatest. So the correct answer is option A, 1 and 2 only. With this, let us conclude the discussion. If you like the video, please share it with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy YouTube channel. Thank you.